Picture this. You're bored and looking for some games to play until something catches your eye. You decide to look further into it and eventually decide to actually play it. This is more or less what happened to me with The Sword of Etheria. The Sword of Etheria, also known as Chains of Power in Korea and Over Zenith or simply Oz in Japan, and how I will be referring to it in this video from now on, is an action game developed and published by Konami. Most of the people involved in the project had previously worked on the Castlevania and Suikoden franchises. It was only released in 2005 for the PlayStation 2 and did well enough in Japan to be re-released in 2006 under the Konami the Best label, which, among being a complete and utter pain in the ass to research due to the name, also had games such as Silent Hill 2 and Castlevania Curse of Darkness. The game was directed by Junichi Murakami, who had previously worked on Maken X as the lead writer and as the monster designer, map designer, and director for Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, which, in my opinion, is one of the best games in the series. The game was reviewed very favorably in Japan but never came out in North America, only ever getting an English release in Europe where it was seen as mediocre and the translation was received horribly. If you know anything about me, you'll know that I am a sucker for obscure things, and so I immediately decided to try this game out for myself the second I saw it. The plot is loosely based on the Wizard of Oz, hence the name Oz, and all of the three protagonists represent one of Dorothy's companions in the book after they had their wish granted by the wizard. The main character is Theo. He represents the scarecrow after having gotten a heart, and is thus very compassionate and caring about the people around him, and he can talk to nature or something. I still don't really get it. Almira is the Tin Man after having gotten a brain and is thus the smartest yet most rational character in the group, always approaching situations in a logical manner. And lastly there's Leon, who represents the lion that now fears nothing and is prone to rash decisions and heading straight into dangerous situations. The classic character symmetry between the body, mind and heart has been adapted countless times and so is nothing special, but it's still a system that works well and allows for characters to shine through. And I think this is a good time to get into the story of Oz. The game opens with Leon, Almira and a man named Cain being sent on a mission by the gods as the special group of envoys known as Oz. We don't know what envoys are yet, or who the gods are, or why they sent them. All we know is that they need to destroy something. After a really short and weird opening stage that teaches you jack shit about the gameplay, we reach the first real cutscene. And I really don't know what's going on here. As you can see, this shit it's almost psychedelic. And this is what most cutscenes in the game look like, by the way. It's really weird. In a good way, that is. After a small cutscene that then sets up the world and the people in it, we then see Theo as he tells the children in the village that has currently been set on fire to run out of the village, including his little sister Dorothy. He tells them to flee while he fends off the assailant, who happens to be Almira. And now that we get another cutscene, I think it's a good time to mention that despite the translation not being very good, the voice cast is excellent. Theo is voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, who some of you might know as Nero from the Devil May Cry series. But I personally like to remember him as Ethan Kairos in the criminally underrated Nintendo DS time travel puzzle visual novel game thing, Time Hollow, which all of you should definitely check out. Although I have to add that his performance in this game sounds exactly the same as his role as Emil in Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World. Johnny, I love you, man, but you really don't have much of a voice range.
guy was really amazing. Are you a dog or are you really a man? I could never say anything like that to someone. They'd only get angry at me.
Then you have Dave Wittenberg, who gave us the best Kefka performance in the entire Final Fantasy franchise as Leon, and Wendy Lee, who also played Black Rose in Dot Hack, as well as Trish in Devil May Cry 5 and Athena in Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, which I also made a video on, so be sure to check that out. Overall, this is a fantastic cast of lead voice actors, and I do think they did a pretty good job in this game. You can also unlock 2 more playable characters in this game, being Gollum, a big fat weird furry wolf dude, and Juju, whom Damboru seems to really like for some reason. The first stage is a one-on-one battle with Almira, and this is probably the single hardest part of the game, to be honest. You're completely on your own, only have the most basic combos at your disposal, and the game has yet to teach you how even the most basic attacks work, and you are immediately expected to know what you're doing. A rough introduction to say the least, and I think this is as good a time as any to talk to you about the gameplay. If you've ever played one of the 2 PlayStation 2 3D Castlevania games, it plays very similarly to those, specifically because of Darkness, which makes sense considering the games were developed by the same group of people. You can execute a basic multi-hit combo by pressing the square button a couple of times. The left trigger guards, but at the same time completely mobilizes you, while the holding down the right trigger locks you onto the nearest target, making you turn into their direction. While locked onto an enemy, you can strafe around them by moving the left stick. You can still execute the regular combo if you don't touch the left stick, while pressing it forward during an attack will launch the enemy away from you, and holding it down launches them into the air, allowing for an easier follow-up attack. You can also only dodge an attack by pushing the stick into a direction and pressing the jump button. You can also do this in the air to dodge an attack or interrupt a combo. Whenever you get launched, you can also press the jump button twice to get back on your feet. And that's it as far as basic solo character combat goes. So eventually we beat Almira. She explains that she was actually a Katina and that the gods are evil and have kidnapped the children and Dorothy and mind-washed and brain control all of the Katinas, and basically the gods in this game are giant assholes. They experiment on children and humans, torture them and all that shebang. Real dickbags. So of course Fear wants to save everyone. Next stage we recruit Leon in the same way, so how about we get into the actual gameplay. While the moveset is identical as before, you now have 2 additional party members. Once you've hit an enemy enough times, they'll become stunned. Then you can either launch them away or get them straight into the air. Their closest partner will then proceed to attack the same enemy, pass it on to the next party member, and then back to you. This in turn fills up a meter that allows you to activate a super special attack, which there's 3 levels of. Level 1 deadly moves are character exclusive solo per super moves. Level 2 has a single partner helping you out, allowing for combination attacks. And level 3 has an all party member activating over Zenith super attack. If you've watched my .hack Link review, this might sound very familiar to you, as it's the same basic concept, just executed way better, and as an actual part of the gameplay and not a stupid QuickTime event. It's rewarding, engaging, and really fun, if maybe a little repetitive. However, the game makes sure by swarming you with several enemies at once, forcing you to crowd control by effectively using your deadly moves. Every character has a completely different playstyle from one another, making them all unique and interesting to play. Feel is by far the most basic of the bunch, using a sword and having a very simple multi-slash combo, while as DM is a wide area multi-hit slash combo. Almira is a little more air-focused, using kicks as her main method of attacking while balancing onto her spear. Her DM shoots her into the sky and shoots lasers beneath her. Leon uses his weird demon claw arm thing and lunges onto the enemies. His DM has him rocketing across the floor. Gollum uses his fists for quick multi-hit punches and strikes, while his DM has him causing a thunder earthquake thing. And Juju I haven't unlocked yet, but judging by her boss fight, she attacked using her wings. Not sure about her DM though. You can mix and match all of these DMs on level 2, and you can see with whom you will be performing that attack depending on the color of the meter. Every character is color coded: Felis red, Leon yellow, Almyra blue, Juju pink, and Gallum green. By using deadly moves to finish off enemies, you can also collect blue Etheria, which is this game's currency pretty much, the Etheria meaning, while the blue Etheria fill up this bar on the lower left side of the screen. If you manage to fill it up completely before you reach the boss of the stage, you can fight them in armor mode, which raises all of your stats. But I've never actually managed to get it myself. Whenever you get knocked out, you don't immediately die, but rather it would be extremely painful. So you get automatically revived as long as at least one party member is still alive. You can speed this up by mashing the X button, but with every death your health will replenish less and less, thus making it optimal to not die. The level designs in this game are kind of barren, and the models and textures don't look exactly great. Which is a shame, because the artwork for this game is gorgeous and the character designs are simply fantastic. However, each stage has their own gimmick that's never repeated, at least not in exactly the same way. The game has dialogue options, but they don't do anything at all and don't affect your ending. By the end of each stage you get graded based on your performance. There's 4 endings, depending on your overall score. After reaching the final boss is what really affects your ending. If you beat the game with an overall grading of C, you get the bad ending. Do it with a B and you get the normal ending, and do it with an A, you get the good ending. But the thing is, to get the true ending you have to collect all 15 of these fragments of wisdom that are hidden really well throughout each stage. Doing that unlocks the true final chapter and ending. If you want any sort of conclusion to the story, that's what you need to do. Beat the game with an overall ranking of A and get every fragment of wisdom. That's dumb. And I don't want to do that, so I look it up online instead. At the very least, it's cool that you fight a different final boss for every ending you get. Between stages, you are sent to this bonus screen where the cat Toto keeps on trying to get onto the menu selection bar, which is a really cute detail if you ask me. Here you can trade your collected Etheria for equipment and turn equipment back into Etheria. Don't do that. It's useless. Instead, what you should do is trade your Etheria for levels. You see, every character has 2 levels, one for strength and one for their health. You can only upgrade them with Etheria, and you should try and max them out both for every character as soon as possible. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the absolutely gorgeous music in this game, composed by the great Michiru Yamae of Castlevania fame. And this is, in my honest opinion, one of her best soundtracks. Every single track is absolutely amazing and could fit right in a Castlevania game. Here, have a listen. By far my favorite song in this game, though, has to be the song that plays in the menu between stages, called With Etheria. It's an absolutely beautiful piano piece and I love it. If nothing about this game that I've told you this far has even caught your slightest interest, please please do yourself a favor and listen to this game's incredible soundtrack. It's absolutely fantastic. On top of all of this, by collecting up to 5 fragments of wisdom, you can also unlock the gallery menu, where you can look at the character art and the chapter art. And then, by beating chapter 8, you unlock the bonus mode, where you can replay every stage with every character and shoot for a high score. And that's about all there is to say about the Sword of Etheria. It's really a shame that this game never got the attention it deserved, due to the botched localization and lack of a North American release. But I hope I was able to at least make you interested in this little game, and if nothing else, you can make fun of the main character being named Feel. And also looking like less of a buff Ragnar the Blood Edge. No, seriously, Arc System Works can't keep getting away with this! They look exactly the same!